Hey everyone, welcome back to Optimize Evony. Today I wanted to do a video on the Battlefield betting that just launched. The last video that I'd done was on these kind of betting coins, and like they had given some vague understanding of how it was going to work, but it actually launched now. So you can see if you go to your Battlefield building here and go to the Battlefield betting, this is now actually live. You can see its event ongoing. It only opened like an hour or two ago, so it's not, it's pretty new. So first, how do you actually get the coins to actually bet? As most of you probably know by now, you get coins from a couple different things. You can get 100 betting coins from each stage of the Monarch competition. You can also get coins, I think, from the activity. I think like the 110, yeah, 110. They seem to like this 110 activity. They put the blazing chest in there and the betting coin. So definitely, if you're doing nothing else, make sure you get to the 110 activity reward because you'll get some of that for free. You also can buy the coins here for 2,000 gems for 100, and you can do that. I would really not recommend it because basically we'll look at some of the rewards later, but it just really doesn't seem worth it to me. But before we get into some of these actual rewards and looking to see whether they're actually worth it or not, let's look at how you actually bet and what you're actually betting on. So this is looks to be some random challenge matchup. I don't know if it's C1. I don't know if it's I don't know anything about these alliances besides just the power ranking here. So uh, basically, you're being asked to choose who is going to win first place and second place. I guess. Oh, okay. Interesting. So you are able to actually switch between some matchups here. And you can bet on the ones that you think are going to win. So I would say that it probably makes sense to bet when there's pretty big disparity between the alliances. Like this one, it seems pretty obvious that the 224 billion alliance is going to get first place here. Uh, there's not a lot of competition from these guys, and uh, this team, if they're really well um, if they're really well coordinated and they're healing marches and stuff, I think it's perfectly plausible that if you have the right team and the right buffs at this power, you could beat someone at this power. But it's really hard to know without knowing the team. I would say in general, obviously this team is way more likely to win. But there are alliances, that I would bet on if I knew that they were this alliance. So, but yeah, you can kind of pick between the matchups that you want. Like it seems like some of them are pretty interesting, pretty random. So yeah, I don't. eh, We'll actually, well, let's go back to that first one maybe, and we'll actually bet on this team, and so that's essentially how you do it. You're gonna click bet, and then you're gonna pick who you think is going to get first place, and then if you do it on this one, that's who you think is going to be second place. So you know what? Let's just bet it all on this team. Uh, Hopefully they do well, but we'll kind of see what's going on there. And I don't know like the how the payout is actually going to work. It doesn't really tell you. It says you can win betting coins based on your betting ratio. So I I don't know. It seems like maybe if there's if there's more prize pool here, the prize pool is essentially going to be distributed between the number of people that have bet here. So I think that's kind of how it's going to go. And so if we divide the prize pool by this, that's how I would assume that it would make sense, uh, or by the number of bets, I guess. That then, times by how many bets you actually had in here. That's how you would essentially get it. That's what I'm assuming. Evony hasn't really told us how it's working. And again, they don't tell us anything about these alliances. They don't really tell us anything about uh, what even what continent it is. So really, very little, and you're basically just placing a blind bet based on just the power that you get. I think this is going to be way more interesting once it starts to get into challenge semis and finals, and then because they're also kind of queuing it up for All Stars. I think All Stars is going to be more interesting because uh, the the teams are a little bit more evenly matched in All Stars, and so really any team can win. It's kind of similar to the any given Sunday. Any team can win All Stars. Like I would never bet against. Uh, like I said in my last video, I would really never bet against like Singh as a setter. He's a really good setter, but he's lost. He doesn't always take first. So it is all up in the air there. So yeah, I think there's one more week of challenge. Um, this is our matchup for the week. Again, looks like a little bit more fair matchup for us. We're not, against like 300 billion power or anything like that. We probably still will get, second or third depending on what these alliances actually are and what they look like. I would assume that one of them is going to be an alliance that is uh, either close to the top 16 or in the top 16 because that seemed to be how it worked out last time is that we were essentially paired with that team to give them some points. This team is really low, so I don't know kind of what they're doing there, but it does seem like they actually have been trying to feed some points to the good alliances the at least last week. So we'll see how it goes this week. Um, we'll see how much I'm actually going to be able to play because I'm going to be a little bit busy during that time. But yeah, so um, let's look at the betting shop and look at to see kind of what's worth it in here. And as our frame of reference, let's keep this 2,000 gems to 100 betting coins ratio because if you're just and you essentially can just buy these and buy stuff in the shop. You don't have to do the whole betting element of it. Uh, I think you're going to make more betting coins by doing the bets, especially if they're like really solid bets. But we'll kind of see how that goes once those matchups happen and you kind of see how many coins you're getting back from your bet. I don't know if it's going to be like a 2 to 1 or what kind of ratio we're actually going to get. But yeah, let's look at the things here. So this is basically just a decoration that you can make snowfall. Interesting. That says popcorn, but uh, I guess this is snow, or maybe they forgot to update it and it's supposed to be corn or some popcorn or something. But you also get these other benefits. There, this is pretty bad, so I wouldn't really recommend getting these things unless you really like the March decorations or you really win big on your matchup. Um, Then there's a 3-day speed up that might be worth betting on or worth getting just if you're low on speeds. I could always use more speeds, so that's a good bet for me. Resources, a lot of this stuff is super expensive to me. Like I think you should try and get every day your free betting coins and stuff like that, but you should really be careful on how you spend it. So like 4 million gold for 800, that seems like a lot. I don't think that that's necessarily worth it. This also seems like a lot because uh, you see these are 30 of 30 or 50 of 50 or 20 of 20, any of the other ones too. You might think like, oh, like if I pay 800 here, I'm going to get 20 of these. But at least the way that I think that it is going to work is that you're going to get one, and then you have 20 chances to buy this essentially. So you could get 20 times 4 million gold or 8 million gold or 80 million, sorry, dropped a zero there. And so yeah, it's you have to be careful and make sure that you know that you're betting on just one of these. So this actually might be the best thing in here, particularly if you have a general that is in the general chest in the tavern. So we'll take a look at what those ones are. But if you, for example, if you have like a Dewey or um, uh, I don't know, I think Dewey is kind of the main one. We'll look at some of the other ones there, but uh, this is a this is like one of the only ways to get Dewey, for example. So it might be a nice thing to get. It seems like it's pretty cheap, but you can also only get 20 of them. So, but it's still worth it. Then, Source of Life are always good. These are also, Runestones are also good, but remember, for 20 betting coins, you're only getting one. So it still might be worth it for you, but you're not getting a ton. This I super don't think is worth it. Uh, I would not get this one, really at all. I would get so many other things before I would get the dragon coins. This one, I wouldn't really get. It's pretty easy to get materials. Like maybe if you're really, really bone dry on materials, it's worth it, but this is kind of expensive for one of those. You can get multiple of these per day in event just from hammers. So, March speed ups, 100. That's 2K gems. This is the same exact price that it costs just to buy it for gems. So certainly don't don't buy gems or don't use gems to buy these and then buy the March speed up because it's the exact same price here. So, uh, but if you want a big bet and you're trying to figure out how to spend it, March speed ups are always good. I would probably I'm probably going to spend most of my stuff on I usually target a few different things, either tactic scrolls, the dragon source fragments. My dragons aren't maxed on the talents yet. I really would like them to be, particularly before All Stars, because there are some good buffs that I'm kind of missing out on. But yeah, you're gonna get 100 of them, so not really enough to really do too much with. This is a day of speed ups. This might be nice, if you max it out, which I don't know how many uh, betting coins people are actually going to get, but if you max it out, that's 10,000 days or 9,999 days of healing speed ups, and then the treasure fragments. I'm actually pretty close to the next level on a couple of mine, and when I say pretty close, I'm trying to delude myself and think that I'm close. I'm still like 200 off. So, but I might use this as well. These are actually a decent thing as well. These are basically what you get as a reward from some of the challenge quests, but this is the only way. This and challenge are pretty much the only way to get these buffs, which are basically like a super 1 hour buff where they give 30% to the uh, base stats for an hour, whereas like the other ones are 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatnot, and they do give a higher percentage there, but it's really hard to remember to refresh them sometimes. So, for example, last All Stars, I was like, okay, I'm going to use 10-minute buffs because I really think that, that's kind of the best bang for my buck, and I really need those buffs. But what ultimately happened is I forgot to. refresh my buffs by like, 30 seconds or something. And of course, during those 30 seconds was when I got attacked. And so essentially, instead of having 50%, I had nothing. But if I had done just these ones, which I have a bunch of them from challenge that I don't use very often because I think that they're really useful um, for really good battlefields and stuff like that. So I try not to use them for things that don't really matter. And so I have a bunch of them, and if I had used those, I would have gotten 30 more percent on everything. And I mean, I don't think it really would have made too much more of a difference. I might have gotten a few more points, but yeah, still, these are good. So these are maybe worth buying. But tactic scrolls are always super super important too. This is kind of expensive for tactic scrolls. Like it's like 4,000 gems if you're converting it from gems, but if you're just getting it from betting and from the free events, then it might be worth it to pick those up. So yeah, overall, I'm not super impressed by like the rewards. I think the rewards themselves are fine. Like I like a lot of the rewards, but they're just a little bit expensive. So I guess we'll kind of see how many betting coins we pick up from betting on things, and then kind of how that's going to work out. Because if you're going to end up with like 10,000 betting coins, then a lot of these things might seem a little bit better of a deal. But right now, they don't really seem like a good deal. And I would say absolutely, absolutely, absolutely do not buy these for gems yet. Uh, if it comes out that you're getting just a ton more betting coins from winning the matchups and stuff like that, and you think like it's a really good investment to turn these gems into, you know, potentially significantly more betting coins that you can use to buy these so that the ratio isn't, you know, 1 to 1 for these March speed ups or something like that. And it's rather like you're you're paying like, 50 gems per March speed up or something like that, then it might be worth it. But I would say until we kind of see what the rewards are going to look like from actually the betting, I would not recommend spending gems on it. So yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. Um, as always, please do remember to like and subscribe. That helps me out a ton. I'm still working on my subscriber goal. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed so far. And leave a comment if what you think on this event. If you think that it's worth it to spend for the gems. I think you can also get them in the event packs. But yeah, we'll see kind of how it shakes out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Uh, I'll see you in the next video.